Since she paid a price to obtain the Holy Grail, Saber will continue to be, even if Artoria doesn't become king. Right. Hi everybody, Renegade67 and or 8 here with some more Let's Play stream Fate Stay of the Night variety blind. Yes, correct, that is something. So, last time on the Night variety, Saber is actually still a teenager. She's not actually an adult, or is she? She might be barely an adult. She might be in her 20s, but she's not like 1,000 years old. Even if she's technically 1,000, it's kind of like how Aang is technically 100, but he's still a kid. He was frozen in time! And that's basically what's happened with Saber here. Sort of. Not quite. It's different, but it's the same. Aang was literally frozen. Saber is like, she's destined because of a time travel deal that she made with the Grail to eventually get the Grail and go back to just before her death. So this is her in the moment just before her death, sort of, which is weird, but it makes her a teenage age still and not like 1,000 years old in maturity, which changes my perception of her character. Saber will now become Kiritsugu Wet Dream, a simple tool for humans to use. Huh? Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. I don't know if that's Kiritsugu's Wet Dream, but sure. Say she grants her wishes in the Holy Grail, the girl Toria never become king, would live out her days as a knight. What about Saber in front of me? Heroic spirit. Continue to be summoned to fight if her wish is granted. Yeah, Saber wants to erase her whole history of being a king. She'll still keep being a Saber because she made the contract, but she wants to erase all that time because she thinks she was the bad king and someone else would be better, even though she did a pretty fucking good job. She did a pretty fucking good job, and she knew. She was given a prediction that her fate would be terrible with betrayal, and she did it anyways, and now only after the fact is she thinking that was a dumb idea. She's thinking she was a dumb kid for doing that. But I'm like, no, you were not a dumb kid. Arguably. You're being dumber now than you were then. Oh yeah, Shiro would always have the wet dreams just because of, more what she looks like. He likes the idea of Saber, clearly. He doesn't like the actual Saber, because the actual Saber is the one that wants, you know, to erase herself from existence. Shiro definitely doesn't want that. Taken away from the future and from the past. That's fucked up. She'll forever be the lonely king dying on that hill. Except she won't. Because, you know, once she gets the Grail, then she won't even be on that hill anymore. She'll have never been on that hill in the first place. It'll be erased. Going through the shitty times changes your perception than just hearing it from a Magus. Yes, you're right. You're not wrong. It's true that when you're younger and you hear that and you're like, I'm gonna do it anyways. And you go through it, and then you get to the end, and you're like, wow, that was bad. That's true. However, a counterpoint, it wasn't like it happened immediately. It was like 10 years. And if she was like 1,000 years old, I think she would be mature enough to know that reversing that is a dumb. But because she's not, and she's still just like 20 or whatever, she's still the dumb, or whatever. Baka. Or whatever he just said. Ridiculous! I can't allow that. Masaka! There's no salvation there. Even if she did redo everything, and there really is a more appropriate king, and her country lasts longer as a result, even if she is saved, I wouldn't like it because I want her to stay here because I think she's hot. But that's the thing. Her doing all of those things is pretty unlikely in the first place. Her getting a better king is unlikely. It's a lie. But she hates herself so much that she assumes whoever would replace her would have to be a better king, because she knows, well, I mean, sure, I was kind of good, but I'm a terrible person, therefore an even slightly better person would be a better king. It's a lie. For all we know, her last battle was just a few weeks ago. No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, from my understanding, well, her last battle is the one where she was on the brink of death. Well, I guess no, she did ask what's-his-face to go throw the thing in the water a few times, so I suppose it would have taken a bit of time. It wouldn't have been immediately after the last battle, I guess. It's a lie. Even if everyone around her becomes happy, the 10 years she fought can't just disappear. I mean, they can. I mean, you know, if everyone around her became happy, I would be okay with that, but of course you're a saber sexual, so.
違う。そんなことはできない。
No, you can't do that. Dekinai.
やり直しなんてできないし、しても意味はないんだ。
This is the other thing that,
セイバー。
more now than before, this wigs me out when I try to watch subs, is that I sometimes know what they're saying and I sometimes don't, and it messes with me. But you can't redo things, and it's useless even to try, especially because sometimes the subtitles will say things that blatantly contradict what they're actually saying, and that used to not be able to bug me because I didn't know what they were actually saying. But now I know what they're actually saying, but I still need the subtitles because I don't know enough to watch without the subtitles. But I know enough that when the subtitles are off, it bugs me. Anyways. That's another reason that I generally don't like watching subbed anime, even more so now. You can't redo things and it's useless even to try. Shiro Mr. Fire says you can't redo things. Uh-huh. It's like he's getting a self-reflection through reflecting her, which it seems like they're both doing, with Saber being like, oh, you'll go down the same path as me. But when she said that, I thought she was saying that from a mature standpoint, but no, she's saying that from an immature standpoint. I think what Saber was actually saying now is that, Saber, you'll become like a superhero, but then you'll realize at the end that you didn't actually save people very good, and it'd be better if someone else is a superhero. It's almost like she's saying that Shiro shouldn't win the Grail because someone else would deserve better and get a better wish. And she's arguably right, because he doesn't really have much of a wish at all, but she needs to win to get her wish. So it's counterintuitive for her being like, if you him going down the same path with him getting his wish and his wish being shitty, and you know, just that would be him going down the same path, I'd say. And yet Saber still wants to get the Grail because she wants to reverse her thing. So it's kind of like, you know, Kara no Kyokai is one of those shows for which I would never want to see a dub. That sounds odd. Never want to see a dub. I don't think I agree about never wanting to see a dub. Hold on. I will say it's different from live action. Everything I'm saying about dubs and subs is completely about animated. When I watch live action, I want to watch it in the native language, because hearing someone dub another actor who clearly, that does mess with me. So when I watch like live action Japanese stuff, I do use subtitles. That's basically the only time I do nowadays. That and Case Closed. Fate as well. I played the game for too many hours to switch to a dub. Well, I started with Fate Zero, the dub, and so, you know, anyways. Also, I can still switch to a different language. Even if I get used to one type of language or one type of dub for a while, I can still switch. Danganronpa, for example, when I had to switch to a different dub for the Danganronpa 3 anime, I got used to it. I watched the original Danganronpa 1 anime dub to get used to it, but I was able to get used to it despite being used to the other voices. I know the Danganronpa 3 anime dub is infamous, but like, you know, that was one of those cases where, because people told me how bad it was, after I watched it and I liked it, I went back and watched the sub version and I compared, and I'm like, no, I still like the dub more. Even ignoring the fact that I don't have to read the subtitles, I like the dub more. So, you know, goes to show to make your own opinions and yada yada yada. What am I doing? Oh, right, I wanted to copy and paste this to see what you're talking about. What is this? Kara no Kyokai. Oh, the Garden of Sinners. I have heard of that. Okay. I have not heard of Kara no Kyokai. I have not watched the Garden of Sinners, but I've heard the name Garden of Sinners. That's a slight pet peeve of mine, when people call things by their Japanese name when there's a clearly dubbed name that's probably more well-known. I mean, I get it. If you get into something and it has a Japanese name and you don't know the dub name, I can sort of understand that. It's a very biased thing, because honestly, I'm the same way sometimes. Like, I got into a freaking, what is it called? Heaven's Memo Pad or something. That's the dub name, I think. I got into it back when it had a Japanese name, before it had a dub name, and so I knew it by the Japanese name, but when it got dubbed and it had a dub thing, I was like, ew, that's a weird name. I just like the Japanese name. So I'm completely biased, I will admit. However, it's still kind of a slight pet peeve of mine when people use the Japanese name, and I don't know the Japanese name, but I do know the dub name, and I don't know what they're talking about, but I actually did know what they're talking about if they use the Japanese name, even though I used to be that way sometimes too. So I'm a hypocrite, is what I'm saying. I do not like the subbed voice of Monokuma. You fucking take that back. The original Japanese Monokuma is freaking great. They had to change actors, unfortunately, because the original one passed away. And I don't think the new one is very good, because I did watch the Danganronpa 3 anime subbed. But I love the original Japanese Monokuma. They're great. Anyways, Kara no Kyokai is the typical name in the fandom. No one really calls it Garden of Sinners. Well, I've never heard of Kara no Kyokai. I've only heard of it as Garden of Sinners. So you know, anyways, I only know it by Garden of Sinners. I've heard that name. I've never heard Kara no Kyokai. Anyways, I'm completely being sidetracked. Let's play more Fate. Can't do that. You can't redo things, and it's useless even to try. I don't... But yeah, back to Fate. Shiro thinking it's useless to try is kind of, reversed. Because he wants to clearly go back and redo the fire. But he's very unself-aware. Shiro? Don't use the Holy Grail for such a thing. And I thought we were leading towards Shiro using the Holy Grail to go back and fix the fire. But if he's saying he doesn't want things to be fixed... Well, I mean, to be fair, it could just be that he's... because she's saying she wants to go back and erase her existence, that's different. If Shiro just wants to go back and save more people in the fire, potentially. But the idea that he thinks you can't redo things and it's useless even to try... I think that speaks more to how he thought things were, in that the fire fucked him up, and he hated how that happened, but, like, he resigned himself to it being impossible, whereas Saber never had to resign herself. Saber always knew about the Grail and how it could grant wishes, and so she sought it in order to change things. Shiro, as far as Shiro knew, granting wishes was just a fairy tale or whatever. He never knew of that as a thing, so he just accepted it, even if he didn't want to, that you can't redo things. Because finding out later that he can redo things would piss him off. Because, like, feel like he was forced to accept that he can't, even though he would have wanted to. That's why he's probably never even considered using the Grail to redo things, even though he wants to, because he was forced to accept that he can't, and therefore he's really angry when Saber tries to use that. To him, it's sort of immature, even though he might still want it if he was given the option way back in the day. It's just that he, at this point, he's resigned himself to not going back, which is why it hasn't even crossed his mind. Even though he still dreams about it, he still wants it, but he's convinced himself that he can't have it, even though he can. It'd be healthier for him to move past the fire. I was summoned to the kitchen for something meaningless for a second. Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed your time in the kitchen. There's generally food in there, and I like food, therefore, something. Don't use the Holy Grail for such a thing. You're going to obtain the Holy Grail by fighting yourself, right? So you should use that miracle for your own sake. Pot, this is kettle. As I have told you, I'll be using it for myself. That's not using it. I mean, it's only using it for your sake of mind that you think the world would be better if you weren't the king. But you're probably wrong. There's only a slim chance you're even right. I, Artoria, must fulfill her duty as a king. Call yourself a her. Even though, as a king, you were a man. But you have to fulfill your duty as a king to erase your history of being a king so you don't think you're worthy of being a king. But, like, that's so dumb. Did those 10 years mean nothing? You did it for the 10 years originally. He gave you the prediction that things would go to shit, and you were like, I'll do it because those 10 years will be good, or what. I don't know if he gave you the exact prediction. But, you got 10 years. This is a solid 10 years. You fucking... Who knows what kind of ripple effect will be undone in the present. I don't know how time works exactly in this world. That's one of those things that, if it's inevitable, then the moment we get the Grail, nothing should change. But it could also be one of those things where the moment you get the Grail, there's a ripple effect, and the timeline completely shifts into a time that's completely different. I don't think that can happen based on how they've set it up, unless they're really getting messy with the idea of time in this universe. But yeah, the ideal is to be like, I want everyone to be happy, including myself. But the Shiro and Saber are very much, I want everyone to be happy, but that's not including myself, because I'm not worth anything. Ellipses! Exclamation point. So why don't you understand? You've already fulfilled more than your duty. You fought that much already. You didn't give up even when you were betrayed or feared. You didn't let go of your sword until the very end on that hill. So why? Why do you have to keep such promises even after you die? I didn't give up even when you were betrayed or feared. I mean, she theoretically expected to be betrayed or feared, but... Why did you have to keep such promises even after you die? It's not about keeping promises, though. It's about her thinking that she did a bad job and someone else would do better because someone else would have had to do better because she obviously did a bad job because she's not a great person. Something, something, something. Just like how you think, Cheryl. Dash, 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 dash. Oh, shit. Will him saying that open her eyes up because she's already sort of seen Shiro's death wish and how Shiro doesn't like himself very much? Has he maybe opened up to her that she also is the same way? Saber's astonished. You've already fulfilled more than your duty. I think I agree. You fought that much already. You didn't give up even when you betrayed or feared. You went in knowing you'd be betrayed or feared, but you handled it, I'd say, arguably like a champ. Except for this part where you're wanting to take it back now. That's not handling it like a champ. Saber's astonished. Selling your afterlife just for a chance for your people to get a better life. Yeah, just for a chance. A chance that I would say is likely to end up worse. Oh. It's too late to regret what I've said. Why? Because you realize it reflects on you as well? Or, I don't think you're that self-aware. I shouldn't have admitted that I see Saber's past in my dreams. I mean, don't we already know that? Haven't you guys already discussed that you guys see each other's dreams somewhat? She's already said that she saw me with the fire, so... Well, I guess this is in front of Rin and Ilya, to be fair, but, I mean, they're not really part of the fight anymore, even though Rin kind of wants to be because she's weird, but... Dash, 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 dash. A heavy silence. There are no words to give her, nor any words to reply. I can sense that anything I say will backfire in this situation. Well, I think it was good for you to say that piece. I think that's going to make her do some thinking. Do some thonking. But still, I can't just stay silent.
Saber, 俺、頑張ったやつが報われないのは嫌なんだ。
Saber, I don't like it when people aren't rewarded for their hard work. But is hard work the same thing as training? Because, you know, you've done a lot of training, Shiro. I'd say it's hard-fought training. But you haven't really been rewarded much for it. You also haven't even considered what your wish would be. You got Rin and Ilya both to say they wouldn't have wishes, and you were basically like, yeah, that makes sense, because I guess you don't have a fucking wish either. And then Saber has the worst wish possible. Jeez. It's meaningless that way, and it's just too unfair. I know it's a childish ideal, but I want to believe that people will get happier the more they work for it. That's also fucked up because he wants to get that satisfaction that he knows Kiritsugu got when he saved Shiro, which is him. And so he wants to work hard to save people because he thinks that'll give him that happiness. It plays into his self-hatred and thinking that if he does that, he'll get the happiness, but he won't because he doesn't actually want to save people. Therefore, that would never actually give him the happiness. But he wants to believe that desperately because he thinks he lacks so much happiness that he thinks that's the only way to get happiness that, like, you know, he hopes it's true even though, you know, without truly believing it, it's not going to end up being true, but, you know, yada, yada, yada.
他のマスターには負けない。
I won't lose to other masters. Yeah, Shiro saved a whole school worth of lives, but doesn't seem to care about Earth's reward. Yeah, they're both very much self-loathing. Very clearly. They want to help others, but don't think about themselves at all. They think others should help themselves, but they don't think themselves should help themselves. Epitome of selflessness and all that.
聖杯は必ず手に入れる。
I'll obtain the Holy Grail for sure. For your sake. Not for his sake, though. For your... Wait. Okay, this is a bit of a turning point, actually. Before, he just wanted to make sure no bad masters got it, basically. He didn't want a repeat of the fire. But now he's like, okay, I'm gonna get the Holy Grail, not because I want anything, but because you deserve to get a wish, but not your stupid wish that you're saying you want, an actual good wish for yourself. Jeez.
だから、セイバーは自分の望みを叶えてくれ。
So please grant your own wish. You deserve a wish. He thinks she deserves a wish because of all the time she did as a king. She thinks her time as a king was fucked up, so she wants to use her wish to undo it and have something else better happen. It's like total opposites. Can they meet anywhere in the middle? It's gonna be tough. It's not gonna happen instantly.
それなら俺は、この馬鹿げた戦いに初めて意味を見出せる。
If you do, I'll actually be able to find some meaning in this stupid war. Exactly, because he had no meaning of his own. He had no actual own wish to find, but he thinks that maybe if he can get Saber's wish to come true, that's how freaking short-sighted he is. He's not going to use the wish to make people happier in general, because he wouldn't know how that would work, because he himself is struggling to finding happiness for himself. But if he can find some way for Saber to be happier, he'll just fucking take that, just like how Kiritsugu just took Shiro and was okay with that. He saved one person, he was okay with it. Shiro's situation is different because he has the Grail and the potential to do much more, but he doesn't think of it that way. So he's just going to pick Saber and be like, Saber, I'm going to save you, and you're going to be happy. And if you're happy, I'm going to get the happiness that Kiritsugu got when he saved me, is probably what he's hoping for here. Will it actually happen, though? And if it does happen, will it be because he saved her, or will it be because he thinks she's hot and wants to get in her pants? Dash. That's the conclusion I've reached. I don't know what the Holy Grail is, nor if it's right to obtain it. But if Saber will be saved even a little, I'll be able to try with all my powers. Oh fuck, what? What happened? Did the light, what's going on? Light is off? Is someone attacking? Is someone invading? Did the power go out? Did we forget to pay our electricity bill because we were so focused on the Grail War? I wouldn't put it past Shiro to do something that dumb. The loud bell rings out and the house falls into darkness. Okay. Is this like spooky bad spooky? Is this Castor? Is Castor messing with us? Is Castor making everything cold? Is Assassin actually coming to do an assassin thing? The surrounding air changes immediately. Did someone fuck up our boundary field? Even though the light suddenly went off, nobody says a thing and tries to feel the surroundings. Well, shit. Oh, shit. Ely is actually on our side for this fight. Oh, boy. What's that going to be like? The loud rings stop and the living room is silent. Well, shit. Looks like we're going to have another fight. But the sound of light things rubbing against each other can be heard in the distance. Light things, like setting up some big spell. It sounds like Castor. This might be the time. It's the only one we haven't met yet. I don't think it would be Lancer. Lancer's master seems like the cowardly type who would want to get someone outside of their home field advantage. And Assassin seems a bit too noble to actually assassinate anyone. Also is probably busy guarding the temple, unless that's finished. Rubbing against each other. Giggity. Was that alarm the boundary field in this house? Seems like it. I nod silently. This sound is the same as when Lancer intruded. Oh, that was a while ago, but okay, I'll take your word for it. This must be... Dash. The sounds are increasing and coming closer. Well, fuckity fuck. And it's... Okay, so it's happening at a slow pace. It's not fast. See, if it was... Assassin's an honorable character, though. I was going to say normally an assassin type. If it was an assassin type, they'd be fast. But, Assassin's the honorable type. Lancer would be more the sneak type. And we know Lancer is fast. So, it's probably not Lancer. Then again, Lancer likes to savor the fun of it. But he probably wouldn't think this would be very fun with how many enemies he has to face. So he'd probably try to be quick about it. So I could see this being Assassin and or Castor. I don't think this would be Lancer. Unless Lancer's coming to form a deal with us against Assassin and Caster. Because I did theorize that we might end up teaming up with Lancer against Assassin and Caster. So that's my thought. If it is Lancer, he's coming to form an alliance. If it's Assassin or Caster, they're coming to fight us, probably. The sounds are increasing and coming closer. A strange sound. It reminds me of bugs crawling around a light trap. Bugs? Oh boy. Crawling. Aburame clan. Archer's Coast just coming to snipe everyone? Possibly. This living room is the only place free of the sound. Uh-oh. Hasn't even been a minute yet since the lights went out, but the living room is surrounded by this unknown sound. So wait, everywhere that isn't the living room? Hold on. Sounds are increasing. Strange sound. Bugs crawling around a light trap. Only place free of the sound. It hasn't even been a minute yet. So like, you're hearing this sound from everywhere. That definitely sounds like, that sounds like, they have this place surrounded, so someone's doing some kind of magic, so they're almost certainly wanting to fight us. Unless this is just going to be intense negotiations. And we haven't really, I don't think this would be an Assassin or Lancer thing, so this is probably a Caster thing, unless the Magi themselves have set this up. Bugs triggers me a little bit, because if I remember right, my memory of this is sketchy, but I believe Berserker's master used bugs? I think. So maybe like this, whoever's, because there's 3 masters we haven't met yet. Maybe this is one of those masters and they're descendant from that guy or something. An enemy, but even for a servant, this is... There's too many of them. Is it literally supposed to be bugs, or is this just a metaphor? I'm a Magus too, even if I'm a bad one. I can sense that many sources of magical energy surround this place. Skirming quickly. I can at least count 20. 20? Well, okay, if it's bugs, then 20 is not that many. If it's bugs, I would think they'd be in the hundreds. So I think it's just, metaphorical, possibly. But they're strangely light. I don't feel any human will. So it's not a human, it's just Caster? The things making the sounds are like empty puppets. That definitely sounds like a Caster type thing. So a puppet master Caster? Oh, so they did come. Oh gosh, what do you know about this, Ilya? Cheese and crackers. See, I knew you knew things about other people, but you didn't tell me about, things about other people. When were you gonna tell me things? Come on, we needed to have this talk. I guess you just wanted to have playtime first, and I never gave you any playtime, so I suppose that's fair, but... Game is bugged, have to reinstall. Haha, that's funny. I get it. Shut up. Don't joke like that. Because I actually do have one aspect of my game that seems to be kind of bugged. Like, I tried to go in I went in my illustrations a while back and it just fucking crashed my game. So, not all parts of this game do seem to jive with my PC or whatever. Ilya doesn't want to spoil. Yeah, well, you know what? It doesn't make sense. If she knows things and she wants to help me, she should tell me about them. Frickin', I'm gonna say that it's because she wants to play with me, and I haven't given her a chance to play with her yet. Therefore, she thinks that, if I played with her, then she would have told me, but I never played with her yet. Therefore, it's my own fault. I might be willing to buy that. They were running away all this time, but they come out as soon as Berserker's gone. Yeah, because Berserker's the real strongest servant. Running away all this time. Well, probably Caster, because they're the only one I haven't ran into yet. Although you're saying they. Do you mean multiple? Do you mean they as in servant-master combo, or do you mean they as in servant-servant combo?
ほんと現金なサーバントね。
Really, the servant is a schemer? Probably Caster. Although, wouldn't Caster have done well against Berserker? Because didn't we talk about this? How, Berserker, one of his, like, even though it says all of his stuff is great, he does not have magic resistance. Magic resistance is not one of his stats. So wouldn't, Caster have actually done decent against Berserker? Still, I guess Caster could have, you know, maybe that's part of why Caster didn't do anything. They knew what they were one of the few people that could do against Berserker, so they stayed in the back, maybe let Berserker take care of everyone else, and then take out Berserker when Berserker's alone. That might have been the plan, but, Rin did take out, Rin did take one of his lives with a gem, so if a human magus can do that, a servant could do pretty well, yeah. Maybe that was the idea. Let Berserker take out the rest of the servants, and then take out Berserker when it's just down to Berserker and Caster. That might have been Caster's initial plan, because they knew how strong Berserker was, and most people wouldn't do well against Berserker. Caster would be one of the few that could, possibly. But now that Berserker's out of the running, they're coming in to take care of... because there's 3 masters all here at once, it's a good idea to get, you know... only 1 servant, but 3 masters. It'd be a great idea to come in here and take them all out in one swipe. Oh. Unlike the 3 of us who are tense, Ilya is strangely calm. I mean, I don't think it's that strange. I'm pretty used to her being like this.
Ilya, わかるのか?
You can tell, Ilya? Could you tell us what this is about? Can you help us in this fight, please?
当然でしょ。私にわからないサーバントなんていないわ。外にいるのはキャスターで、何かいっぱい引き連れてきてる。なんだ、竜の葉でくくったゴーレムみたい。
Yes, indeed, you are a very useful ally to have around. Of course, I can sense any servant. The one outside is Caster, and there are lots of other things out there too. Oh, they're just cheap golems bound by dragon's teeth. Wow, you have very good senses. Ilya seems to be fully in control when Archer's not involved, but that would make things a little too easy. There has to be something she isn't predicting, because if she's, that's the thing. Like, if it's just that, oh, she doesn't tell us things, and that's why they become surprised, that becomes a bit silly at a certain point. Like, after this situation, I feel like we gotta grill her on, hey, what's going on? Can you please tell us? Tell us what you know. And then there should be, theoretically, more that she doesn't know, that she just thinks she knows everything, but she didn't. In theory, I would hope that's what would happen, but... Cheap golems bound by dragon's teeth. That's interesting. The fact that it's a dragon is interesting, because Saber, has an inner dragon, as it were. Cheap golems. So something of a puppet master. So they're going to send in... So Caster's sending in these golems, so Caster doesn't have to fight us themselves. Ilya says simply. And the sounds stop at the same time. Oh, as if Caster knows that Ilya's onto them, so it's like, well, if she knows my plan, I should change plans. Or maybe Caster's going to try to run away if Caster thinks Ilya's too intimidating to take on the situation. Then again, I mean, when are you going to take her on? She's got extremely good senses. Dash. I take the wooden sword I keep in the living room. Oh boy. You gonna do some strengthening? No sword birth, but I thought you were best at that. Tosaka and Saber seem to be waiting for me to make a move. What, because I'm like the leader? Well, I guess to be fair, I'm the master, and Saber is the servant, and Tosaka doesn't have a servant, so I suppose I am sort of the leader at this point. Oh fuck, this is a choice. Let Saber take care of Caster, and to protect the other 2 here, go out with Saber. Jeez, okay. Fight choice. Or is it secretly girl choice? Okay, I take the wooden sword I keep in the living room. Tosaka and Saber seem to be waiting for me to make a move. Let Saber take care of Caster and protect the other 2 here, or go out with Saber. Wasn't sure his whole arc about him fighting with Saber. Yeah. I guess he's the one in charge here. In this situation, interesting. Usually, I, Renegade, don't get to make Shiro's important fighty choices. What would I actually do in this situation? Because personally, I'm biased, and like both, I'm biased and care more about Elia and don't want her getting harmed. Because if I go out with Saber, I'm potentially leaving them vulnerable. But they're decent fighters already, and it's true that Shiro's whole thing was going out and fighting with Saber. But I'm biased, and I want to protect Elia. This is a tough choice. Let's see. Go out with Saber. Fighting with Saber, that would be splitting us into teams of 2 and 2. But if we split into teams of 1 and 3, Saber is much stronger. But Shiro can do Sword Birth, and Shiro is probably at his best when he's getting horny because of Saber. Saber is probably also at her best when she's horny because of Shiro. It seems like emotions give them strength. Shiro seems to do his best when he sees Saber in trouble, and Saber seems to do her best when she sees Shiro in trouble. So if they get in trouble unrelated to each other, they'll probably do less good. So I probably should go with Saber. Because Rin and Elia can take care of themselves, I would say, to an extent, even though I do want to choose the Elia path, if that's at all a fucking thing. But fighting-wise, I think the smart thing to do is to go with Saber with what I know of Shiro and Saber and how they do better when they see the other one in trouble. And so them fighting as a team makes the most sense. And it's not like Rin and Elia are helpless. If they were, my choice would be different here. They are very much capable. So fine, let's split into the team of 2 and 2. I think it makes sense anyways, because Ilya's so strong, and Rin's pretty darn strong too, that I would say, like, them two with me and Saber arguably makes our pairings of equal strength, ignoring the fact that Shiro and Saber make each other stronger because of their bonding or whatever. Ignoring that, I would say they're equalish strength, because Saber's the best, then Ilya and Rin in the middle, then Shiro's the worst. But Shiro becomes better when he's with Saber, and Saber becomes better when she's with Shiro. So if Saber was on her own, I think an argument could be made the Shiro Rin Ilya team. I think there's more power overall if we go with Saber. So let's just go with Saber. Let's go out with Saber. Yeah. I think, part of me is like, oh no, Ilya Rin, but I think they can take care of themselves. I'm going to go out with Saber. It's clear who the enemy is. Is it? I mean, even if we know it's Caster, first of all, we're just taking Ilya's word for that. Second of all, we still don't know who Caster is or who their, master is. If shit goes up, Shiro can sword birth. That's true, because, Saber would be the best one to wield the sword that he births. That's fair. Also, Rin would get all pissy if he did it, because she just told him not to do it. If the enemy's servant, if Caster's attacking with troops, there's only one thing to do. I think that is an untrue fact, but okay.
ここにいても始まらない。セイバー、一緒に来てくれ。遠坂はイリアを。
It's no good just staying here. Saber, come with me. Tosaka, protect Ilya. Yeah, if anything, I think Ilya's going to be protecting Tosaka. I would argue very hardly that Ilya is the better fighter. Maybe Tosaka... Tosaka probably has her strengths. I'm not saying Ilya is strictly better, but I would think overall Ilya is better. Anyways, though. What? No, I don't want to look after Rin. Well, don't kill each other. That's all I ask. You can fight independently if you want. You're both capable, right? Yeah, I guess leaving them together is kind of awkward as well. But if I'm with them, then they're going to be fighting for my attention. Because I know Ilya would want to be with me. And I get that. And I kind of want to be with Ilya. But then, like, what's Rin doing? And it just feels like it would be unorganized from a tactical fight perspective.
そんなの私だって願い下げよう。けどあんた、シローの言うことなら聞くって言ったでしょ。
Ilya thinks the same as me.
あいつが言ってるんだから、
that she would have to protect Rin? Yeah, pretty much. The living room ain't a magical fort since the only magic field is the alarm. Letting the weak troops just bang on the door will give Caster more time to do plan and prepare magic shit. I suppose that's fair. Because Caster is just going to prepare more, so we should send more troops out to fight Caster. Keeping more troops in this part isn't really going to accomplish much. I agree. I don't even see why we're splitting up in the first place. I think we could just all stick together. I suppose there is some merit to splitting up. But, like, has Shiro actually thought about that merit? I'm not so sure. I don't like it either, but you said you'd listen to what Shiro says, so obey him politely. Oh, fuck! Rin's actually stepping up and... Huh. So she's actually, like, respecting him as the leader position. Because... What, because Saber's the only servant? Interesting. Maybe she's realizes she doesn't want to be a hypocrite now that Ilya's around. She's seeing potentially what her own behavior could be. Or maybe she's taking this chance to one-up Ilya and show that she's more deserving of being with Shiro than Ilya is. I don't care. I'll be more helpful than Saber. I don't know if you're that strong. Saber's a servant. I mean, I'm sure you're strong, but... Tosaka blinds Ilya's arm behind her back and puts her hand over Ilya's mouth. Ooh, that hurts. That hurts because Ilya's best girl. Oh, I just think it's tactically more correct to do this. I'm sorry, Ilya. I'm sorry. It's for the tactics. If they gave me the choice, go confront with Ilya, like, if the choice was different, if it was, keep Saber here, go fight them with Ilya, go fight them with Rin, go fight them with Saber, I would have chose go fight them with Ilya. But that was not the choice. Ilya may be more helpful than Nerf Saber. Is it full power Saber, though? Like, has she gotten her full time to get her full energy back? Hard to say. I guess we'll see when we actually see her fight how much better she is. Ilya continues to throw out insults. Sorry. I know. I'll protect Ilya. You two go and get Caster while I do so. That seems untrusting. I guess to be fair, I did say protect Ilya, and you're living up to that as a respectful thing. But, like, I think Ilya can protect herself, but the fact that you're saying that is interesting. I guess that's something of an honor thing, or maybe it's because you think, hey, that means I get to fight more if I have someone to protect. It's just interesting that she would say that when she was the one who wanted to kill Ilya in the first place. But I think there's also slight cynicism behind what she's saying, and that it gives her a chance to keep an eye on Ilya. But I don't think she would go out of her way and, like, secretly kill Ilya when I'm not looking, because that would be, you know, go against her honor code and all that. I'm depending on you, but don't work too hard. Think more about escaping than beating the enemy. Oh, seeing how mad Ilya gets about this. Oh, makes me regret my choice, but oh well. Oh well, I already made the choice. Tosaka nods back, telling me I don't even need to say it. Main plan here is to have two relatively strong teams. Well, sure, but Saber on her own would be a pretty strong team. But, like, if we're sending one team out to attack and one team to defend, then I can sort of see the plan more, but... Turning my back to Tosaka, I hurry out of the hallway, leading to the porch. The porch! Oh, the porch as in the wooden thing you stand on, not the porch as in the car-type porch. Rin is actually Caster's master and is using this distraction to finally kill Ilya. I mean, if Rin made a secret pact when we weren't looking, maybe. Based on what I know of Rin so far, I don't think she would do that, though. She's not that kind of, like, if she's very much seems to be the honorable fighty type.
Saber?
Yes. I know, I'll protect Shiro. Oh, fuck. Is that what Rin was actually gonna say? Because, like, I mean, yes, Rin wants Shiro protected, even though Shiro's an enemy master. But Rin, you know, wants Shiro's, you know... I mean, everybody wants Shiro's penis, but... Is that really what Rin was going to say? Or is that just Saber's gut instinct to say that? Because, Saber wants Shiro's penis. Nodding back to Tosaka, Saber follows me. Okay. This is interesting in that moment. Fancy. So we got some, like, skeletal guys that have, like, skeletal clubs. This is neat. Okay, so we got mooks. Because Caster can summon mooks. Generally, Fate does not have mooks. Okay. I doubt my own eyes. A sword is swung down on me. Oh, fuck. An unavoidable strike attacks me, aiming for my open hand. Ah, these mooks are kind of strong. Oh, fuck! Saber, did you not block it? What are you... You're useless, woman! I avoid it by twisting my body and parrying instantly with my wooden sword. I can't believe it myself. My body reacted as soon as my mind understood I was gonna die. Well, hey, that means you're improving. Because of, the fighting with Saber. At least, despite the fact that her training is starting to suffer now, this can actually act as a bit more better training, as long as you don't actually die. It attacks me the second time without hesitation. Hey, Saber, what are you doing? What are you doing, Saber? Where are you? A smooth mechanical movement. A wasteless, accurate attack. God, man. This is the first time, I don't know, like the first time in a long time where I've really wanted to see the other choice. Oh, okay. I want to know where she got... there is one other choice that bugged me a little, but only in a nitpicky way. But this one's like, oh man, I really wanted to see going with Ilya instead and her being happy and not temper tantruming, but oh well. I gotta stick with my choices. This is what makes choices tough. This is what makes the tough choices. No saves coming. Yeah. I mean, I save all of them for a reason. Eventually, I will probably go back to some of them, when I'm done with my first playthrough or whatever that is, but that's all. It's just accurate and it's not refined nor scary. Smooth mechanical movement. A wasteless, accurate attack. A wasteless? But it's accurate? So it's got 100% accuracy, but it does 0 damage? That's like the worst thing. That or you have 0 accurate. Well, usually you don't have 0 accuracy. Usually you maybe have like 20 accuracy, but some damage. That's better than 100 accuracy and no damage. Thieves, am I right? It's just accurate. It's not refined nor scary. VN, save scum the game? No, because we gotta commit to our choices. The attack looks foolish compared to those of Saber. And it feels like the touch of a feather compared to Berserkers. Foolish compared to those of Saber and feels like the touch of a feather compared to Berserkers. Ha ha! He's like a Saiyan, getting stronger every time he loses. Because, he's used to Saber's refined attacks. And he's used to Berserker's strong attacks, because Berserker nearly killed him once with that attack. Is that made him sort of, numb to the idea in the first place, even ignoring the fact that he has Wolverine powers? So, is he getting those Saiyan boosts? Is his secret servant self coming out, as it were? Crack theories and all that? If you're just to go through a VN and go at check what every choice is, to me it feels like that'd be like if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you go down the left choice and then the right choice caves in, and you go back and you check the right, you gotta commit and go down. Okay, the metaphor doesn't work at all. I just wanted to bring up Dungeons and Dragons. Dash. I repel the attack with my back to the wall. And the space I retreated through, Saber's lightning strike smashes down. Okay, I was wondering what you were waiting for.
Shiro, 無事ですか?
Shiro, you alright? The problem with VN choices is that... Hello, Optic Chitwick. The problem with VN choices is that some game choices have long-ass term effects. I love long-term effects. That's what I love about branching paths. I love it when... I love when you pick a choice and you go down that... Ooh, what is this song? No, we've heard this before. I like this song. I haven't heard it in a while. Like when you pick a choice and you go down that choice and you think, I wonder how different things would be. I love thinking of the differences and stuff. And, oh, what if this happened instead? And then I love going back and actually picking the other choice and seeing what's actually different. I love that. But anyways. Problem with save scumming. With save scumming, you may not know what long-term effects are there with the choice. Oh, you mean if you go back and you check the other save, you get to know what the difference is? I suppose that's true. That's why I don't go back and check. But, yeah. Shiro, you alright? As you can see, I was scared, but I made it. Thanks to your training.
なんとかなったではありません。このような時は私の後ろについてこなければダメです。
She smiled for a second and then turned stern. That's it's so interesting with the emotion. She smiled for a second because he made it okay, possibly because of her training, but then she got angry because because that's how the tsundere works. Do not say you made it. You must follow me in a situation like this. Please be cautious from now on. What, did he jump out in front and Saber followed behind? I wonder what Saber was doing. I thought for sure Saber would be in front, but no, instead Shiro went in front. That is a dumb move to do. Please be cautious from now on. Saber scolds my carelessness. Well, that's pretty in character for Shiro, at least. Still, he's getting better for sure. She's right, but I just didn't want to be following after her. Well, that's what you should be doing. I thought that was the implication. You going in front does not work. You provide the backup, Shiro. You're very much the backup.
Shiro, 私の話を聞いていますか?
Until you find out that you actually are really a servant and you're actually as strong as her and your powers fully come out, I think that you should definitely be following behind her. You know, Wolverine powers even besides the point. Sure, are you listening to me?
ちゃんと聞いてる。それよりセイバー。
Yeah, I'm listening. But what was that? You mean the skeleton things? There's nothing in the hallway. Because they got killed? They had 1 hit point, maybe? They're what Matt Kova would call, what are they called? Gosh, I forget what he calls them. But, it's like, they're the same as regular enemies, but they only have 1 hit point. It's how you do big, it's how he does big group battles. I think it's a neat idea. Strange thing was blown away by Saber's attack and has vanished like an illusion. Okay, yeah, so it was, I think it's like a shadow clone, the shadow clone jutsu. So basically, yeah, they're super strong, but 1 hit will get rid of them. So they're glass cannons.
今のはイリアスフィールの言っていた通り、魔物の体を触媒にしてかたどった兵士です。オートマタというよりゴーレムのようですが、質は低いですね。
As Iliasville said,
今のゴーレム程度なら取り囲まれても問題はありませ
they're
ん。
warriors made by using a monster's body as a catalyst. It seems more like a golem than an automaton, but the quality is low. There should be no problem even if we are surrounded by such things. Interesting, because I thought earlier that Ilia wanted to, put me inside a familiar body. So does she have much experience with golems, or is that separate from her whole familiar thing? It sounds like there'd be some overlap, but... Speak of the devil, we're surrounded by things! Ellipses! Interesting how they have, like, the teethy mouth, but no face. As if... I wonder if there's a purpose to that, or these golems just happen to look like that. Just an interesting choice that the face is lacking. Maybe it's to give them more dominance by caster if they don't have a face, because having a face would give them something of a free will in some way, shape, or form. Interesting to think about. When were they hiding? Where were they hiding? No. Where did they get this far in? Maybe they're like shadow clones in the sense that they hide in shadows. Even more shadow clones than actual shadow clones from the Naruto. Those things, like bad building blocks, are gathering with spider-like movements. Oh, that's what the whole rubbing up against each other bugs thing was about. I think having no face head as a visual standpoint shows that they have no intelligence. I mean, yeah, I was thinking more free will, but intelligence, that too. I think they have the... That's interesting. Do they have enough intelligence to just fight target, or are they being purely controlled? Because there is a difference between being completely controlled, because that means Caster's really strong if she's able to manually control all of them at once. Or they were just summoned and have a very single-minded goal and can't think for themselves outside of the single-minded goal, which makes her summoning power stronger, but diminishes her controlling power, if that makes sense. On top of that, they aren't the only presence I feel. Oh, fuck. Many more bones surrounding this mansion. Oh, gosh.
Shiro, yoko desu.
Shiro, to your side. Interesting that Caster seems to be the observant person who seems to have had maybe the Interesting. Caster is probably the best at sensing other servants, so maybe Caster just knows where we are through sensing, and being the best at sensing other servants. But there's also the option that Caster knows where we are, maybe because we attacked at the temple and Caster was prepping something at the temple, was working with Assassin. And so when we went back, Caster was secretly following us and traced us back to where we came from. Or we've actually secretly met Caster's master already, and because of that, they were able to put the dots together and know who we are? Possibly. It seems like Castor's probing out the servant's power skills with these mooks to see how we react to them. Yeah, that's the... Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. These mooks could potentially kill us. That would be the best case scenario. But if they don't, they would be a gauge of our powers. If, yeah, that's also true. Yeah, Castor might... Because Castor is a caster. Castor might be best at long-range combat and using mooks. And so Castor themselves may be bad in actual close personal fights. This might be their best way of fighting us. It's true this could be a test of testing our powers, but that would only make sense if she didn't already know the scope of our powers, which would suggest that they haven't... I keep calling them a she, because I just assume this caster is going to be a she. I don't know. This caster, if they've been watching us and found us just through their magical sensing, they probably have a good sense of how strong we are already and wouldn't need to gauge our powers. Which means if they are gauging our powers, they probably found us through either tracing us back from the temple or because they want the master met us at school. But it's possible that this might just be seeing our tactics. Less our powers, but our tactics. Or maybe they're playing something of a chess game, because this is something you can do with mooks that's harder to do without mooks, is that they're playing a chess game, they're trying to separate us, they're trying to see how we act, and then Castor has a plan for how to respond after separating us or seeing what we do, and these are like the mooks to just get us separated in the first place, then send in stronger things. Depending on how smart the master is and how smart Castor is, you can make a lot of mileage out of all this power, indirect power, that most servants don't have access to. Shiro, to your side. Ah! Dash, dash. I jump away from the wall instantly. Damn! Kusaw! I slash at the bone sliding up on me. After that, Saber smashes away the bones to protect my back. Are you making any actual damage with your wooden sword? The bones move in with loose movements, and all attack in the same way. It's not hard to repel them, but the house gets destroyed by every attack. The house gets destroyed? Oh no! Well, I guess actually no. Rin did help fix your house up in the past, so I suppose we can do it again, so it's not a big deal. Still, stop hurting Kame House, as the saying goes. I only have a wooden sword. I even remember thinking this in Fate Zero, that Castor is, like, has the most fun potential for fights, because Castor did a lot of fun shenanigans in Fate Zero, and I've been excited to see what Castor would finally do in this game, because basically every other servant is sort of, I mean, it's a little rude to call them a one-trick pony, but generally they have some fighting style, and they're always up close to some extent, and they have some gimmick, but they generally fight up close. I love that Castor has so much more range. It makes them the most fun to watch fight, in my opinion. Even with the strengthening magic on it, it won't last too much longer. I don't want to think about it, but the number of these bone creatures might be infinite. I mean, so long as Castor, assuming they're kind of weak, which it seems like, Castor probably has an ample supply of mana, or whatever you call it, to summon these. We might continue this skirmish until we collapse. That would be one strategy, just to keep summoning these to try to wear us out. Or it could be like a gambit of multiple strategies, of maybe the strategies wear us out, but if they don't wear us out, then maybe Castor's trying to lead us into a certain direction. Damn, where the hell are they coming from? Seriously though, about the whole Ilya thing. Up until now, I would have just instinctively wanted to ask Ilya, so what do you know about other masters? Because you seem to know about a bunch about us as well. But Shiro wasn't really thinking about that, which I can forgive because he's kind of dumb. But the fact that Ilya knew what these were about, I think should signal even to someone stupid like Shiro that Ilya knows a lot, and he should be asking her questions after this is over. And I hope those questions get asked, because I want him to ask them, because I think it would be dumb at this point for him to not ask them. But anyways, damn, where the hell are they coming from? I complain with my back to Saber. Not many bone creatures are coming for me. They're mostly focusing on the more, you know, harder threat, I suppose. They must be coming from inside the house as well, but most of them are coming in from the yard. Wait, how many bone creatures are coming for me? Oh, I feel like you were going to bring up how they're coming for Saber, but then you dropped that. Must be coming from inside the house as well. They're coming from inside, so they're not just being summoned from outside the house. Most of them are coming from the yard, but some of them are being summoned inside the house, so Caster does not have to summon them, it seems, right next to her. I'm going to keep calling her until we know better. It seems she can summon them inside as well, so she can summon them, as long as probably they're within a certain distance of her, she can summon them anywhere, potentially. So one strategy could have been to summon them all right where we were. I would assume she would have the sense to know where we were all located, but she didn't do that, possibly because her plan was to separate us. I'm more thinking that her plan now, like if she had some big plan, it was to separate us, because otherwise she could have just summoned all of the bone creatures into the living room all at once, potentially, but she did not do that. Saber's slashing away the ones coming in from there. Their goal is the living room. Oh, never mind. So she can't just summon them in the living room? Maybe that's a ploy. Make it look like she can't summon them everywhere, but she actually can and just wants to see how we act, and maybe make us think that the living room is important, but she actually has a real alternate goal. So while we guard the living room, she's actually looking for something else, like maybe our shed and our summoning circle, if she knows about that. Unless Ilya just knew about this stuff right now due to her reasoning skills and her insane magic sensory skills, putting the presence of golems as signs that this is Caster we're fighting, knowing Caster ran away from Herc because she never sensed this before. I guess that could be what Ilya's doing, but like, I still want to question if that really was what she was doing, because she always acts like she knows everything. And so to me, and you know, given that she clearly has known things in the past, I think that she just does know these things in advance. Maybe she's just good at, you know, maybe she is good at speed chess, but it seems like she's bad at speed chess because she was not able to handle Archer suddenly being epic. And so my thought, basically given that she did a lot, and also given that she did a lot of research on me and Rin, is that she also just knew about this in advance and just didn't tell us. I think Rin, if anyone, is the person that would be more accustomed to figuring something like this out on the fly, but even then I think she would need more information. I'm not saying that Ilya couldn't figure things like this out on the fly. I'm just saying that given what we've seen, I think it's more likely she knew it in advance. Yes, all hail the all-knowing Ilya indeed. Their goal is the living room. As Ilya and Tosaka are in the living room, Saber is busy dealing with the ones heading there. Dash, dash, dash. Oh, so she's just using Excalibur in all its glory at this point? Really? I'm surprised she's not using the wind sword. Or if she is using the wind sword, why is it so visible? Is it because I've now that I've seen it once, I can just see it, even though most people can't see it? Saber readies her sword again. Just seems weird that we can see it, but okay. Maybe there's no need to hide it now, but the golden sword is trying to show its true power. Wouldn't that be if she was using... Okay, whatever. Maybe because Saber is at her full power now? I still don't think she would want to use it willy-nilly against these mooks. But I guess maybe to protect Shiro, because her head is so horny, and she just wants to make sure Shiro doesn't get hurt.
待てセイバーダメだエクスカリバーは使うなうちが吹っ飛ぶ分には構わないいや構うけどそれでも周りは住宅地だ
Hold on, Saber. Don't use Excalibur. I don't care if my house gets blown away. Okay, I do care. But there are other houses around here. You should know what'll happen if you use it here. I yell while parrying away bones in front of me. Just don't waste your, don't waste your last fucking command seal. Because you've already used the two of them. The fact that you had to use a command seal to hold back her Excalibur that one time still bugs me. I feel like you'd have actually tried to use your words first, but you know.
マスターの指示ならば従いますが、これだけの数をまともに相手にするのは面倒です。一掃しなければ、いずれ窮地に立たされます。
I'll obey if it's your order, but it's too troublesome to face such a great number of enemies, or should be put in danger if we do not sweep them all away. like, you're not wrong, but I feel like it's a waste of mana. Unless you have, like, infinite mana, which I think even you still need to recover your mana at a certain point. So, I think, no, please don't do it right now. I think we're strong enough. I think you want to protect me, but I think we're strong enough that we can make headway. Unless you're saying we can't, but I think you're good enough. Unless you're saying you're not. That's a casual swipe.
あれは使い魔の類だろう。なら操り手を叩けば一網打尽だ。そういえばキャスターの気配は探れるか。
I know, they're like familiars, right? Then we'll get the whole army if we get the one controlling them. Saber, can you search for Caster's presence? So casual. I love it.
キャスターは庭にいます。
I can just imagine this in animated form, which I think means it's doing its job well, where a skeleton just comes up from... Makes me think of, like, you know, zombies in a zombie thing, which, I mean, they're skeletons, so close enough, of one of them just running at them and Saber casually just flicking one away and being like, yes, I suppose we should look for them, and just casually talking to each other while hordes of skeletons are around them. I do not even need to search. Caster is out in the yard. Okay, well, you know, then let's just go to the yard. Let's go fuck him up.
気配を隠しもしないということは私たちを誘っているようですが
It seems Caster is luring us as the presence is not concealed. Oh, so that's the plan? Caster maybe has a trap? Maybe we should try to not fall into the trap then. Maybe then Caster set something up that needed direct contact, and so that's why the skeletons are here. Because, okay, so that's the plan then. Caster wants to lure us to their locations to use some kind of trap that required direct contact, where the skeletons are being used as the lure. But that should be an obvious trap, which we're seeing through, so maybe there's a double trap? And maybe because we know that they know that they know that we know.
構わない。誘いに乗ろう。どっちにしたってこんなことを続けてたらこっちが先に参っちまう。
I don't care. Unless we have an alternate strategy, I think he's making a good point. Unless you can think of something better, let's fall for the temptation. We'll tire out first if we continue like this. Let's just go straight for the source and be prepared for a potential trap, because there likely is one waiting.
私は一向に構わない
That's
の
so
です
casual, I love it.
ではこのままキャスターを
I don't mind. Then we shall go to attack Caster? Yeah, I suppose. We just gotta be careful. Just go in knowing there might be a trap and being prepared for anything. Dash, dash. It's possible they have a backup track expecting us to not be lured into the trap. It's also possible they just thought, well, if they don't go to the trap, maybe they'll just get worn out anyways by the skeletons if they're so stubborn. Or they might have a backup track for a way around the trap. And if they do have a backup trap, then we might as well just fall into the first trap instead of falling into the second trap, you know, because something, something, something. If Caster's in the yard, it shouldn't be too hard to get there. But that means losing the defense. I mean, okay. Who cares? Your house doesn't have that many magical things, right, to protect? It's fine now since Saber's here, but the defense is holding the bone creatures off. Will go away when Saber goes out of the yard. Well, sure, but what are you protecting exactly? It's not like Taiga or Sakura are here. It's Ilya and Rin. They can mostly take care of themselves, I would say. I mean, even you are doing decently against these bone creatures, so I think Ilya and Rin will be okay. I should... Believe in Tosaka. I hate that that's the choice. How about believe in fucking Ilya, damn it? I believe in Ilya. Grumble, grumble. Okay, so this says believe in Tosaka, but I'm gonna choose to believe that it says believe in Tosaka. Sorry, believe in Ilya. Let Saber take care of Caster. I think that is the incorrect play. Splitting me up from my servant is probably a bad move. And also, I am the weakest one, so if I was gonna let Saber take care of Caster, that would basically be reneging on my previous choice. And going, and like, if I staying alone would be terrible. If I'm gonna renege on my previous choice, I have to go back to Ilya and Rin. But I don't know if they're still there. Ilya and Rin might have went to do their own thing. It's an in-character choice. Shiro still thinks Ilya is a cute girl to protect as the hero. Rin has broken through that complex. Trust in the toe sucker. No, I trust in the Ilya. I know, I get it. Shiro thinks of Ilya as the cute girl, and it's hard for him to ignore the fact that Ilya, you know, fucking killed him, and you know, Ilya's done some really dangerous shit, and he doesn't think about that. I realize that both sides exist, but Shiro's, you know, too stupid to think of that, and just thinks of Ilya as the person needing protecting. Whereas Toe Sucker It's because that, you know, it's like before Shiro got Ilya to stay with her, Ilya acted all cutesy when he was getting to know Ilya on a personal level. Now Ilya's still acting cutesy and lets out, you know, her secret evil side only in fighting environments. Whereas Rin, the side that she shows at school of, you know, being the reserved whatever, dropped immediately when she got to know Rin personally. When he got to know Rin personally, and she was always blunt and stays blunt in the fights. It's just, this is the truth of her, which is different than Ilya, who has the two sides that are true, regardless of, you know, there is no truth of her. Ilya's not that, you know, she doesn't wear the mask, at least not purposely. Therefore, Shiro has seen Tosaka is competent, but is too dumb to realize that Ilya is also competent because there is no conscientious mask wearing. Or subconscientious. I mean, there is subconscious mask wearing, but not to that extent. Anyways, we have to believe in Tosaka, because if we don't, we're totally taking back our last choice. And personally, I choose to believe in Ilya. I say, fuck this choice. I get it's in character for Shiro to think this way, but anyways. Dash, dash, exclamation point. The sound of glass breaking. Uh-oh. I hear sounds of fighting in the living room. Oh, see, they're already in the middle of a fight. Well, so they're already doing that thing. We need to go take care of Castor now, so that can also save Ilya and Rin by taking care of Castor. The longer we prolong this, if Saber goes alone, which means she doesn't have me as backup, it'll possibly take longer, and they might be in more danger. Besides, you're just Shiro. How much are you gonna protect them? Sure, please give me an order. There's no time to be indecisive. I know. Either way, we're making the situation worse by delaying the decision. Exactly. We'll get Castor. I told Tosaka to take care of Ilya, which I still fucking hate. Ilya's fine on her own. If anything, I think she's stronger than Tosaka, but whatever. Let's go, Master. I'll entrust you with my back. Yes, your back, not your front. Not like before, Shiro, where you rushed out ahead of her. Oh, nice! Montage of slashing away bone guys. She runs, smashing away the swarming bone creatures. The bone warriors vanish without even being able to approach Saber. Are they like snowflakes? See, if I didn't know that fights can sometimes lead to my death, and I'm ideally trying to avoid as many deaths as possible, even though I love the Taiga Dojo, so I don't know. But ideally I'm trying to avoid as many deaths as possible, and that's why I chose what I thought was tactically correct. Even though if I was, you know, ignoring any deaths or anything and choosing just what I wanted, I'd probably stay with Ilya and Rin. But because, you know, I'm going for the tactical mindset. You know, occasionally if I get a chance to make Shiro kind of smart, I'm going to do it. So, are they like snowflakes? Oh, well, maybe they're like snowflakes compared to Saber. There's so many scattering bones that I feel like I'm in a snowstorm. Don't you mean a bone storm? The Bone Saw! Peanut Head? Man. She told me I'd have her back, but there's no need to protect her like this. That's why you should be in front. Because then you'll be forced to protect her when she has to put herself in harm's way to protect you. And that's the best situation where you will likely to protect her. Because when you're at her back, she generally just doesn't need it. At least not against these mooks. She more than makes me realize how great a swordsman she is. Uh-huh. I mean, I feel like you already know that, but whatever. I guess you just have to re-realize it because you're too busy, you know, with your penis getting all hard and stuff for her that you forget that she's also good at fighting. Saber charges without doubt. The foundation for all these bones. See, she might have some doubt if she was separate from me. Because if she was separate from me, she might be worried the whole time that I wasn't there. But also, me getting damaged right in front of her will give her more of an emotional power-up. There's a tactical reason for us staying together at this point because of how close we've grown. Even if I want to be on the Ilya route, it seems like we're being this really does feel like the shoehorn Saber route, whether I like it or not, but... To defeat the unseen sixth servant that has invaded this mansion. Sixth servant? What do you mean, sixth servant? The unseen sixth servant? I mean, it would be the unseen second servant. What? Because Berserker's not here and Archer's not here. If you're counting all the servants you know, then it would be the unseen seventh servant. Is this a typo? Because you've seen all the servants except for Castor. Unless you mean all of the servants except for Saber. Because you're not counting Saber as a servant? I suppose that might be what it is, but that's sort of a nuanced thing that you have to think about, and is kind of jarring for someone who's not thinking too much about it. But I am thinking too much about it, so I guess it works. Ugh. Saber stops. Oh fuck, are we gonna get the reveal? Are we finally get the reveal of the servant? The swarming warriors cannot be seen anymore. This must be the end, as someone is standing there. Oh shoot, is this Caster? Oh fuck, oh shoot, oh fuck. A distorted figure. The figure wearing some kind of robe cannot be seen, as if only the spot is smudged in black. Oh, a robe to hide their identity? Are we still not going to get to see Caster? Shiro did just find out Saber's a real girl. I suppose that's true, that he knows that she's not some kind of... He never fully comprehended how this whole system works anyways, though. Neither did I. So, like, I think it's unfair to be like, Shiro did just find out Saber's a real girl. I don't think Shiro ever fully understood that Saber wasn't a real girl. But I guess it was reaffirmed to him. But, anyways. Like, it'd be different if this was Rin's view of her or something. But it's Shiro, and Shiro never fully grasped that she wasn't a real girl in the first place, so finding out that she is doesn't really change much, is what I'm saying. I think that's a female. That looks like female physique. I think. But, okay. So, it's a black shadow. She, I'm just going to call her she for now, seems to be hiding, concealing her identity. But why is she concealing her identity? If I'm being honest, it looks like this could be Ryder. Like, Caster could secretly be Ryder, is what I'm saying. And maybe that's just because of my theory that Ryder never felt like Ryder, but I guess Ryder had a thing. But I feel like I could see this as being either Ryder or Ryder's sibling, because I feel like, I don't know, just from the little bit we see, I wouldn't doubt that this is like a Ryder look-alike. We never really saw Ryder's eyes, and we're not seeing Ryder, Caster's eyes. It just looks, the physique from the little we're getting looks like that. But I could be wrong. Could still be a feminine man. Ryder just sneaked out after the snore beam and put some robes on. I mean, yeah, we never saw Ryder's death, so... A black shadow. I'm assaulted by an unknown unease the instant I look at it.
あなたがセイバー。なるほど。確かにこれならバーサーカーを倒し得るわね。私の増票では足止めにもならないでしょ。
I'm pretty good at recognizing voices. Like I said earlier on, when I recognized Archer. Like, it was weird, but it was clearly Archer in the backstory. Pretty fucking sure that's Ryder's voice. So I think it might actually be Ryder's sibling. Hold on. I don't think it's actually Ryder. I think Ryder's dead. But we never learned their true name. I'm pretty confident this was Ryder's voice. I recognize the sexy sounding voice. Yeah, we never learned Ryder's true name. We never learned details of Ryder. So it would make a lot of sense if this person was related to Ryder, and that's how we learned more about Ryder. Man, that was kind of a guess. That was kind of a bizarre guess, but it seems like they might actually be related. But looking at Caster's details again reminds me, nice rack. Caster really does have a nice appearance. So you are Saber. I see. You are certainly capable of defeating Berserker. My troops would not even slow you down. And I was right. Caster's a girl. Called it. Okay, so that means, yeah, we've got Berserker. So now we've seen them all, potentially. Assuming this is actually Caster and not Ryder. We've seen Berserker, Assassin, Lancer, and Archer. And those four were all guys. And now we've got Caster, Ryder, and Saber, which are girls. So it's half and half, as much half and half as you can get when you have an odd number. My troops would not even slow you down. The figure snickers. Snickers, that's also a very a Ryder thing. Ryder was very much, the kind of, evil snickering thing. Yeah, now we just need to find the players, because Caster... Assassin and Lancer, we still haven't met their masters yet. It seems the thing in black is the master of the bone creatures, servant Castor. So my theory was right all along. I said that I thought that that would be Castor. I thought that Ryder was Castor, and if it turns out this is somehow Ryder's twin or something like that, I still feel vindicated, even if it wasn't quite the same way that I expected. But
マスターがいない。
no master? The master didn't come. The master's cowardly. That's a very Shinji thing to do. Maybe because the master's dead. Maybe Ryder did get away and teamed up with some other master. But who? I don't know. That would involve some other master losing a servant, generally speaking, but I don't know. I don't see any sign of a master near the figure. Because that's the other thing. What's the point of hiding this? What's the point of hiding the identity of a servant? It's not like we're going to see a servant and be like, oh yeah, you're this person. These should all be new people. So hiding this person's identity is I feel, another reason to think that this is somehow going to be revealed to be either Ryder or a relative of Ryder. And again, voices were not in the original version of this game. I still kind of sort of see the Ryder semblance even through the shadows, but it's a very slight semblance. But hearing that voice, my memory isn't perfect, but I feel like I remembered enough to think that this is the same person. And again, this is the voices coming through, where before voices weren't a thing, which is interesting, and may add unintentional foreshadowing, but I don't know. Unless this is somehow a female Merlin, and this is hiding for Saber's sake. Oh, of course. That's what it's hiding. Sure, yeah, okay. Because, frickin', King Arthur has to be female, so let's make Merlin female too. I doubt it, but... But yeah, the reveal has to be something. Otherwise, why hide the servant's identity in the first place? So I think the Ryder reveal makes sense. Because I can make a whole video about this, of hiding someone's identity. If you're going to go out of your way to hide their identity, then the reveal, either don't reveal it at all if that's the point and you're making a statement, or the reveal needs to be someone you know of somehow. And if it's not, there's like no point to... It's like you were teasing the idea of a plot twist, and then the twist never happens. Anytime you hide someone's real name, or hide someone's identity... There always has to be that twist that you know is going to happen, and therefore, if the twist ends up not mattering, it creates an interesting layering. And I enjoy the layering, but it can... That's where the "is this too obvious" comes from, that you might have heard me spout if you've heard my Danganronpa or Zero Escape Let's Plays, because who is Monokuma? Who is Zero? That kind of thing. You know it has to be someone, and you probably would assume it's someone you know, therefore there's this idea of... You have to analyze everyone and be like, is it too obvious if it's them? Because we know it has to be someone. That's different than a reveal that happens where you don't necessarily expect anyone to be secretly someone. And, if there's a reveal that you're not expecting, then it can more easily have more obvious foreshadowing if it's not something that needs to happen. But in the case of hidden identities, it's a twist you're going to know has to happen, theoretically, unless they're just making a statement and never revealing the identity, like Teen Titans, for example. You never know who the new Red X is, but you don't need to, that kind of thing. But that's a different sort of thing. But anyways, in this case, I don't think they're going to not reveal the identity. Unless this is legit just an in-universe, and Castor is just hiding her identity so people know less about her. That's the thing. In-universe versus out-of-universe. You could write it so that the in-universe Castor would do that to hide her identity. But out-of-universe, there must be a plausible, identity must be revealed to be someone we know of. Because if there isn't, it's a cock tease to the viewer. Because you purposely wrote Castor to hide their identity to even if you wrote it to give them an advantage in the playing field, you purposely wrote it that way, knowing that the viewers would come to the impression that there's going to be some identity reveal. So if there's not going to be an identity reveal, don't write their character that way, is what it comes down to, in my opinion. Anyways, I don't see any sign of Master near the figure. Is Castor the same as Lancer? No, I think they're the same as Ryder. The type to take action away from their master.
貴様、契約が切れているのか?
You, is your contract gone? Aha, that would be extra fitting if Shinji's dead and this is Ryder. If Ryder was never Ryder and Ryder was secretly Castor, that would be extra interesting. It would mean there's a real Ryder we haven't met? That would be really weird. Saber asks unpleasantly, is this just Ryder? And it's not even, Ryder's twin?
ええ、彼は私の主にふさわしくなかった。だから消えてもらったし、消えてしまった。
He was not a suitable master for me, so I made him disappear. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Are you really Ryder? And you, you saw the attack was coming and that would kill you, so you just got out of the way, and like, you let Shinji die, because you thought Shinji was no good, and you waited till some other master lost a servant, which just happened with the Berserker incident, so that's why you stayed in hiding. And maybe you were always caster, and you being rider was a lie. And that's what I said. I said you were probably caster. Okay, this is interesting. Because Rider's Noble Phantasm, you know, it's got the reins of the Royal Cavalry, whatever. But also, it's got the Blood Fort. And the Blood Fort seemed very much like a caster thing to do. So therefore, maybe she was a caster, but hid her real intentions and pretended to be Rider, or maybe Shinji was in on it and pretended for her to be Rider, in order to hide her true power. And so, that's also an option. And then when Shinji died, she waited for another servant to be taken out. And maybe because she's a magus herself, she has a surplus of magical energy, and so isn't in danger of disappearing anytime soon. Maybe that's why she was willing to do it, because she thought Shinji was a shit master. And so that would make her chaotic good if she wanted Shinji to get taken out, because that always I mean, I fucking hate these things in the first place. The whole, like, alignments, they seem to be bullshit. But if chaotic good has any sense, then maybe she realized Shinji was a load of shit and let Shinji get taken out. And so now maybe she wants to make a contract with Rin or Ilya, and so she's sending these things in to test Rin and Ilya, but maybe she wants to take out Saber first, and then team up with either Rin or Ilya. Probably Rin, because Ilya wouldn't want any part of that. Things to think of. Buy the twin theory more than this was caster all along. I could see both very easily. Think that, because what would it mean if caster apparently killed their master and we never see their master? Like, she could just be lying, of course. But what would it mean if caster killed their master and we never saw their master in the first place? What would be the point? Like, why wouldn't they show us her master in the first place? With Shinji, we have a clear case of losing the master and the servant potentially still being around, since we never saw the body. I think it makes a lot of sense. I would think that caster wouldn't use these traps, but would have just used her horse to bull rush the house. I suppose, but maybe Saber killed her horse. Or maybe she got away with her horse died. Or she didn't want to use her horse because she didn't want to kill them. She wanted to take Rin or Ilya as her new master. Possibly. Anyways. Also, she's saying he, which again leads back to Shinji. It seems like this could be a coincidence, but it feels like it's a lot of coincidences for it to not be true. Yes, he was not a suitable master for me, so I made him disappear. I don't know what kind of expression the black robe is making. But Castor answers in a cold voice.
Master 殺し。では、貴様のマスターは
Master killer. Then your master is Shinji?
とっくに死んだわ。けれど問題はないのよ、セイバー。
Already dead, but there's no problem with that, Saber. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
私たちは魂食いでしょ。魔力の供給源なんていくらでも溢れている。
We're soul eaters, correct? There's an abundance of magical energy sources. And this goes back to how she set up the boundary field to try to potentially consume everyone inside the school. And there was this idea that a different person was doing it at the school and the temple, but someone seems to have sent something up the temple. And I thought it might make sense if they're the same person. I didn't know, but it seems like it makes a lot of sense.
あとはそう、聖杯さえ手に入れてしまえば心配は何もなくなるでしょうね。
All that remains is, yes, if I obtain the Holy Grail, there will be no more worries for me. Possibly. Don't you still need a master, right?
貴様も現世の復活を望むのか。どこの英霊かは知らぬが、そのためにかつての誇りを捨てたのか。
So you wish for revival into this world as well? Saber, one of the few who doesn't, and maybe doesn't want to because you think that's selfish. I do not know which heroic spirit you are, but you threw away your pride for that. Because Saber thinks that's a bad wish. That, you know, I mean, but if they're clones, all they can do is do that. Because if they don't, they'll just disappear into nothingness. So, You know, I think Saber's in a very different position because she is a real girl. You threw away your pride for that. Also, the fact that Saber is acknowledging the possibility that we don't know for sure if this is Caster. Or if this is Caster, then we don't know for sure Caster was Ryder.
あら、人間風情に使われるのは誇りを捨てるとは言わないのかしら。
Oh, so you do not feel that working for humans is throwing away your pride? And that fucking goes back again to what Ryder said about she fucking hates humans. Like, she's chaotic good and she loves, I guess, animals or whatever. But she was totally like, humans are the worst, so she doesn't mind. I don't know if she said this or we just inferred this because she's chaotic good. But I feel like there's the idea that she was so willing to let all those humans die because she thinks humans are just terrible. And so this is her saying that she hates humans, and maybe Shinji is just another one of those humans that she hated, and she was working for him as a means to the end. It's all sort of working, like, it feels so right that if it's not true at this point, I'm gonna be, like, very surprised.
私はそれが我慢ならなかっただけよ。今も昔も誰かの手足になるのはこりごりなの。だから使う側に回っただけ。
I do not wish to be anyone's servant. So I just became the user. You have no grounds to criticize me. I think she makes a fair point. Everyone has a different idea of what pride is. But, you know, Saber, unlike the rest of the heroic spirits who have, you know, who are clones of people that have lived super long lives, with Saber, she still is that just teenage girl, so she's more naive, I would say.
だろうな。私も貴様の非業になど興味はない。
I would assume so. I also have no interest in your ill acts. Saber's body inclines a little. Oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. There's only about 10 meters to Caster. Oh boy. Saber should be able to close it on Caster in under one breath and slash Caster away, unless this itself is a clone of herself and she's not really here. You gotta be careful, Saber, because we acknowledge that this could be a trap, right? So keep that in mind. Don't give in to her, you know, goading.
物騒ね。せっかく話し合いに来たのに問答無用だなんて。これでも手加減はしたつもりなのですよ。
How dangerous. I tried to come and talk, but you act like there's nothing to talk about. I went easy on you, you know. I mean, they did seem kind of weak, but it seemed like they were weak because you were controlling all of them. But, so maybe you were just doing that as a test to see if Rin or Elia was worthy to take as your new master. Then again, you don't seem to like humans in general, but I don't think you can take the Grail without having a human master, so I feel like you're going to be forced to take a new one. Yeah, this may be a literal shadow clone, yeah. Like Naruto's version.
貴様と話すことなどない。潔くここで散れ。
I have nothing to talk to you about. Die here in Grace. Will it really be in Grace after she's already been a master killer? Saber intends to kill Caster. I mean, that's usually the way to go. I won't oppose. Oh, yeah, usually do oppose death, but I guess if it's a servant. And given that Caster said she already killed her master, and that's pretty bad. Can only smell blood on Caster. I bet what Caster said about killing her master is true. I don't think it is. I think she let the dirty work be done by Elia. The raid was also intended to kill everyone here. I think she was sort of testing to see if she could take Rin or Elia as a new master. Because I feel like you need a master, right? Unless she has some way of not needing a master because of some weird thing, because she's like a Magus and that makes her special in some way. I don't know. Ellipses. There's no reason to stop Saber. First of all, Caster won't even be a match for Saber. Maybe she built up something in the temple for so long. Maybe she was puppet mastering Shinji. And that's how Shinji knew about it, is that Caster told her about it to try to lure them into a trap. But really, the whole time, Caster was just using him and never liked him as a master. And maybe Caster... which would be fitting because Shinji seems to, you know, like using other people like Shiro and stuff. He's not, you know, maybe he's not the best at it, but he seems very much like the cowardly type who may give in to his emotions, but that would seem similar to Shinji, I think. And yeah, if Caster was preparing in the temple, maybe she was preparing something to let her stay around even after her master died. So maybe if they hadn't have killed Shinji, she would have just let, she would have killed Shinji afterwards anyways, after dealing with Saber. Possibly. Maybe she just wanted to use Shinji for the best he could before, letting her dry up, but... Anyways, first of all, Castor won't even be a match for Saber. Oh yeah, of course, this clearly seems like a trap, but... I can sense Castor's ability. And the fact that you can sense it is weird, because you're normally, usually, you're bad at magic stuff, so I feel like if you can sense it, then she's making it a very obvious trap. Castor is the weakest when it comes to one-on-one combat, and I think that's exactly what she wants you to think. But if she's actually Ryder, then, we know that she's not terrible. Although, Ryder is kind of bad, because even Shiro put up a decent fight against her, and she was no match for Saber, which would, again, further credence to her being Castor. But if she is Castor and she is Ryder, then, yeah, she's not going to be very good in a one-on-one fight against Saber, still, if she is Ryder. But... in this situation, Castor can do nothing but fall to Saber. Except it's probably a trap, which, I mean, didn't you predict it might be, but still weren't prepared for it because you're stupid? Don't do it, Saber. Oh shit, his sixth sense kicked in. But I can't shake off this strange unease. It's his servant sixth sense that he somehow senses the things that are sixth. Pre-sword birth Shiro managed to stave off Saber. Managed to stave off Ryder. Okay, that was a miswrite. Okay. He never really managed to stave her off when they were in their training. But yeah, he did manage to stave off Ryder, which would make sense if Ryder's actually Castor, and that would make sense why Ryder's so weak. But I know Ryder would generally be stronger with the mount, but, the mount itself could have been... I don't know. Anyways. This isn't like the hopeless premonition of death like with Berserker. Maybe the trap is the unicorn. Maybe she wants to get Saber in a state where she doesn't see it coming and hits her in one strike when Saber's completely unprepared and not expecting it, and she just summons the unicorn and kills her in one blow. Possibly. It must be physiological hatred or an alarm against something bad. And, Saber's supposed to also have something of a sixth sense. It's like a skill of hers. So the fact that you're sensing it and Saber doesn't seem to be is interesting. Which I think, it's different though, because Saber, I think, senses it in the moment. It's like slight seeing of the future for her. Whereas you, I think, you're just sensing a general ominous, which is a bit different. My left hand throbs as if to tell me that Saber shouldn't go near that thing. I mean, it makes sense. We did agree this was probably a trap, right? We more or less said that. Ellipses. I hesitated too long. Saber jumps and sprints to the back black shadow. Oh fuck. The distorted shadow smiles. Oh gosh, you're getting to see her in all her glory. Okay, this looks a little bit different than Ryder. But just a little though. We still can't see her eyes, just like we never saw Ryder's eyes. We see her hair, and it looks more purple. Ryder's hair was still purple, but it was like a light purple. So it could just look different because of the lighting. Yeah, it's decently darker, so maybe that does throw a wrench in it, but maybe that pink hair was an illusion in the first place, or this purple hair is an illusion in the first place. The distorted shadow smiles. It could be a sibling, assuming the hair isn't, assuming the hair is not, like, an illusion in of itself, then maybe that makes sibling, but, it could also just be Castor. They could have had a similar upbringing, but, based on how everything's been going so far, I feel like it would be so perfect if this was if this was Ryder, Shinji's master, that if it's not, it's gonna feel a little like, that's too coincidental, but... The distorted shadow smiles. Castor doesn't seem to be panicking about the approaching Saber. Whatever she just said. Castor says something in a language I can't hear and casts something that appears to be to the brain more than words. Okay. Appeals to the brain more than words. Oh, fuck. The world distorts in that instant. Oh, shit, what's happening? No, the density of the air changes only around Saber. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Ah! Naniga! A huge impact. Uh-oh, this seems bad. The ground sinks, and it seems like something large came crashing down on Saber. Maybe this is why it's important that I came with Saber and didn't stay behind. Maybe if I didn't come with Saber, she would have gotten killed. But because I'm here, I have a chance to save her. Maybe. I need to save Saber.
そんな何の動作もなしで魔術を
No way, casting magic without any actions. I mean, she is caster. I would expect that she's a pretty good caster. So, no, there was a murmur like a spell. Spells can indeed be shortened. The easier the magic, the shorter one can reduce the spell to change the self. Spells can indeed be shortened. The easier the magic, the shorter one can reduce the spell. And the better the mage, probably the easier they can reduce it as well. What's occurring before me is a great magic, but she's caster, so, you know. No magus can express that in one word. Even if it is possible, they'd have to repair a catalyst beforehand like Tosaka does. Except this is caster, so... But still, caster executed great magic with just one murmur. Every time, it's always like, there's no way they should be able to do this. Are you forgetting that they're servants? Are you forgetting this is how they all are? Like, could you just start assuming that they're going to be this good, please? Caster's just on a different level. If that was Caster's magic, that figure is no mere magus.
Saber!
I mean, of course they're no mere magus. What do you fucking think? They're fucking servants. I didn't actually read what you said a little while ago, Wiseful. The problem with using these narrative things is that this is a story with a lot of different paths, potentially. Maybe they all just loop into the same thing. This may be a path where we encounter Caster a bit late after she killed her master. I don't know, it feels too convenient. If I did wind up on a path where it just perfectly happened that we didn't see Ryder's corpse, and Shinji was killed, and now we see Caster after apparently her master's dead, and the voice is the same, it feels so, and apparently her master was a man, it feels so fucking, like, similar, that if this is a coincidence of the route I went down, I will be amazed. Because it totally feels like they're the same person based on all this. And, you know, it could just be that this is Caster, and this has always been Caster, and Ryder is someone else that we haven't met yet. And it could be that instead, and if we went down a different route, maybe we would have just found that out in a different fashion. I could also believe that. The voice isn't the same to your ears. Well, it is to mine, and, you know, I haven't heard Ryder in a while, but from what I heard, it sounds the same. So, and I'm usually pretty good at noticing similar voices, but it's Japanese, which, you know, I don't know what they're saying, which makes it a little hard to notice the nuance, but I think it's the same. Saber! Saber's frozen on the spot. Maybe that's confirmation bias, because I want it to be the same, because it's everything else is lining up, but it seems similar. Her leg froze as it kicked off the ground. She's bound in space right now. No, the air surrounding her is transformed to something like clean gelatin. Oh, fuck. Clean gelatin. What does that even mean? Bound in space. Clear gelatin. Even if I try to approach her, I'm pushed away by an invisible soft membrane. It seems that this is only around Saber, but as long as her feet are not on the ground, Saber cannot move.
侮ったよね、セイバー。あなたの時代の魔術師がどれほどだったかは知らないけど、この指は寝台に生きたもの。
Yeah, to my ear, this sounds just like Ryder. I mean, she's speaking more confidently, but it sounds like the same voice. I guess you took me too lightly, Saber. I do not know how good the magi in your age were, but I have lived in the age of gods. Well, fuck. The age of gods? Which one? Which gods? Do not know. Oh, hiccups. How good the magi in your age were. You don't? I mean, Merlin was there. Interesting. So maybe you are trying to still suss out their skills. I assume that generally Maguses would be the most recent servants, with other heroes being more in the past. But, you know, Maguses, I would think, good Maguses have only come out more recently, is always, oh gosh, hiccups, been my thought process, but maybe that's untrue. Don't diss Merlin, you bitch.
こんなマッセの魔術師たちから見れば私の技は魔法のそれでしょう。
My magic must look like sorcery for Magi in these times. A laugh comes from the black robe. It's more purple, but okay, black and purple. Saber is still bound in space.
なんだ、本当にこの程度ですか、キャスター。
I see. So this is really all you're capable of, Caster? Oh, fuck. What, you're saying Merlin did much better? Wow, way to sass her. Rin did say in her very first exposition note that Maguses are getting weaker as we go into the future, as sciences get better. That makes sense. There's less of a need for the Magus, so Maguses would have tried harder back in the day. That's fair. She spits those words out. That's very rude. How does Caster respond to that?
対魔力、そんな私の魔術すら弾くというのか。
Magic resistance. Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. It repels even my magic. Hold on. Remind me how good it is, because I remember Saber's magic resistance being very good. That's one of her strong points, is that Saber, you know, I mean, she's only good close up, but she ignores magic. So, magic resistance A cancels any magic A rank or below. So, you need S plus magic. Like, Saber is like your worst fucking opponent, Caster. Where you might have been pretty good against Berserker, who had no magic resistance, Saber has the most magic resistance. You are arguably our easiest opponent. Unless you have some secret thing that you've been building up for a while at the temple or something. But if you do, you're going to need to use it against us, because Saber should, in theory, be the hardest person for you to beat. Magic resistance. It even repels my magic. The black robe retreats. After canceling Caster's magic in an instant, so it must have been probably A or B rank. So pretty good, but not good enough to damper her in any way. After canceling Caster's magic in an instant, Saber dashes with lightning speed. Oh, fuck. Dashish dash. But I... What the hell? That timing, she got it. Don't do it, Saber. What? 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 Huh? What? A little confused. Merlin used to throw all the weirdest shit at me. Yeah. Maybe that's why she has such good magic resistance, is that she trained with Merlin. That timing, she got it. Don't do it, Saber. I don't fully understand what this choice is saying. Confirm the kill or wait for it? Don't do it, Saber. That timing, she got it. Oh. So essentially Saber's going in, and Shiro's either saying, oh yeah, that timing works. She can do it. That seems like weird wording. Or don't do it, Saber. It's possible Caster has some big plan. I'm not sure. However, we've just saved. And I think before making this choice, before doing the big decisive blow, this might actually be where I end it, because I'm out of water. This is a bit short today, but I do need to do a couple things today before going off to do some chores of mine that I'm going to have to do. Usually I would go for a bit longer, but I have to pee and all that, and by the time my break is over, if I was to take a break here, I wouldn't be able to go much longer anyways. This seems like a decent stopping point, so I think I'm going to stop here. I'll see you guys next time, so don't have an outro phrase for those watching on YouTube. This has been, you know, we're fighting Caster. Finally got the Caster reveal, oh boy! But is Caster actually Ryder? It seems like they could be the same person. I had the crack theory of, you know, it wasn't even a crack theory. At first I'm like, Ryder's just Caster. But then I'm like, okay, Ryder's not Caster. But now I'm like, no, Ryder's fucking Caster. So, we'll continue on Wednesday. We're doing these on Wednesdays now. So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we're continuing on Wednesday, which I don't know why I could freaking YouTube video's over. Go away, stop recording.